Hello. Excuse the mess. My hair is just a mess tonight because I was just being lazy and stuff. So, anyways, I made my kids. Um, I know my son, he's 21 years old, and my daughter is 17. I still try to cook for them. And so I got these chicken thighs. Uh, they were, and usually chicken thighs are pretty inexpensive, so you can always get a package of them for like $5 a package or something like that. My daughter came in just right when I was talking about the food, and she comes in and she's like, "Oh, there's only one more thigh left," and I was like, "Okay." I don't like recording in front of my kids because I don't know. I don't want them to think I'm weird. Which they already think I'm weird anyway, so whatever. Today was a good day. It went by really quick. Some days you know how some days always act or feels like it takes forever. It's like the day before Friday is always like the fastest, and then Friday's here, and then you have the weekend, and the weekend goes by so quick. Why is that? Why does the weekend always have to come by so quick? Anyways, I'm just thankful for tomorrow because it's going to be Friday. And I don't have to worry about anything. And it's the first week of the month, and I'm not really that stressed out about what's going on and stuff. So I still have some things that I got to take care of for work, and I got stuff that I have to, manage before the deadlines because we have deadlines, And so my boyfriend called me tonight, and he had a long day. So I figured that he had a long day. He hasn't called me good or text me, messaged me good night or anything like that. So which is fine because I know he had a very long day. And you know how when you have the mental exhaustion, I know I do. And after working in the office, your mind just gets exhausted and you get tired. And it seems like it's more tired than it is when you're physically working. I used to work in construction. First, I ran away with my ex-husband. He took me out of Actually, he didn't take me out of my small town. I actually followed him and forced myself on him so he could take me out of town so I didn't have to stay in my hometown because I was like, I don't like my hometown. My hometown is Moab, Utah, and everybody loves Moab, Utah except for me. I I've always hated it ever since I was a little girl. Now, I have good memories of living in Moab, Utah. When I was a little girl. I grew up with my mom and my dad, really good, parents, very disciplinary, parents too. So, anyways, that's the only time I really miss that I really have good memories in Moab is when I was a little girl growing up, especially, when we weren't going to school and stuff. And so my dad and mom would take us out into the country, into the desert. And at that time, we could go anywhere in the desert and like build a fire, just like, pop up, you know, a fire pit. And then my mom would get tortilla dough, like dough ready for tortillas. And then my dad would always get buy like a bunch of steaks and hamburgers and hot dogs. We ate really good when we were kids. I mean, me and my sister ate really good. So I always had like Cokes. My boyfriend tells me, he says, it's not Pepsis, it's not sodas, it's Cokes. I'm like, I think that's a Texas thing. So I try not to say Pepsis because we did grow up with Pepsis, but it's really, I guess you have to call it Cokes, because it's all whatever. So, and my dad would always buy us like lots of sweets, like donuts and cookies, and we always went to the donut shop in Moab, Utah, and it was fun. And we always went to the store and got something to eat, and we just had fun. I mean, it was really nice. It was a very abundant. We lived like kings and queens when we were kids. Excuse me. I have this phlegmage going on every time I eat. I don't know if it's an allergy or not, but every time after I eat, I always have all this phlegm in my throat. Now, I think, mostly on my mom's side of the family, always have that phlegmage going on in their throats, and it always reminds me of my mom and my aunties and my uncles. They always have the phlegmage going on after they've eaten and stuff, or drank anything like that has any butter, or milk, or anything like that in it. So I just had chicken, and I think the fat maybe is the same thing. I don't know. Anyways, Moab, Utah. Yeah. So it was a grand time. My dad worked at the Texas Gulf. It used to be Texas Gulf, and then it changed, was bought out by Moab Salt. So then he worked the rest of the time with Moab Salt. But Texas Gulf was just like the best company back then. It was just like they really took care of my dad. They really took care of us, and we used to have all these corporate parties. My dad and my mom would go out on these really really fun dinners, like the holiday dinners, kind of like the one you see on the Christmas Vacation, Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It was just like that. My mom and dad would go out and have their big steak dinners and stuff, and then us kids, and we have family picnics, and then at that time when we were kids, we had the skating rink there. Oh, and that was fun. Skating rink and the bowling alley. The company would pay for like family holiday skating rink and bowling alley. So they would rent out the whole skating rink and bowling place, and we would have free hot dogs and all the sodas to drink. It was the best time, just best time to grow up in Moab, when they had the skating rink and the bowling alley. And I still remember where it was located because it's still there. And so then, eventually after that, Texas Golf had, kind of, I guess it flopped, or I don't know what happened to them. But Moab Salt went ahead and bought out, and it didn't really, like, I think I remember that they still had the bowling and family picnics in the summer. My mom and dad would still go to their Christmas dinners and stuff. But what was a bummer was that the skating rink, like, totally just shut down. And so when that happened and the bowling alley shut down, and it was just a time where it was so sad that it just, really shut down. The one thing that I really am so bitter about Moab, Utah is because they really destroyed a lot of history there when I was growing up. And it's just like, I remember the Canyonlands Cafe. I remember the Western Grill. I remember how Milt's Diner was. And that was the best burgers in town. Oh, Main Street Broiler. Oh, big old hamburgers. I mean, just big old, hamburger meat with lots of good stuff in between. I mean, there was a lot of good food there. And growing up, working for these, companies in A&W Root Beer, the ketos. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's all erased history of good food that was there, and all the history of all the really great restaurants and stuff, cafes and stuff. Oh, Um, every 2 weeks, my dad would always get paid. So when we were little girls, my dad would always say, let's go and have dinner, because we'd always go out. Instead of going anywhere in Moab, we would go and drive, or my dad would drive like to Monticello, or we go to Green River. Like he'd say, let's go to Green River. Let's go eat dinner in Green River. So we take a trip out there, and then we get all excited because we're going out of town. I always hoped that we would go to Grand Junction because it was the biggest city. But my dad, he always liked to go to these small little towns with, good restaurants. So we always go to Green River, Dove Creek, and then we go to Monticello. A lot of times we go to Monticello and eat at the restaurants there. And there's still some, I can't really remember all that much about Monticello growing up and the good food or the good restaurants that was there. But I do remember a lot about Moab, mostly because we were always there. So, anyways, that's good memories and stuff. But that's why I hate Moab, because all the memories are gone. All the places that I used to grow up with is gone. It's like a memory in my mind. And my elementary school was torn down. Still just flat, empty area where my elementary school was. I still have dreams about my elementary school, and and then they tore down our high school, the high school that I used to go to. They tore that down and rebuilt a brand new one. Anyways, middle school is still there, but it's something else. So it just really, when I think about it, it just really pisses me off. I know I'm bitter. I'm a bitter woman. So, anyways, my ex-husband took me out of that place, and I was so glad. And it was a good experience, because I got to work in the pipeline with him, and we used to travel together, and then we went to Wyoming. At that time, I used to love the cold weather and stuff. And we would go to Texas and Oklahoma and work construction there. I don't think we ever worked summer times in Texas. I was there one year for the summer, getting into the summer with Texas, because my ex-husband had to leave me behind, and he traveled to Wyoming. So we were separated for a long period of time, and I was stuck over in with his mom, which I love her. I really love his mother. I mean, my ex-mother-in-law. And I really need to go and see her again and visit, because, time and stuff. And my son, I encourage him to go and see his grandmother. But, she's, at that time she drank a lot, just like I did. But, and she was just a different kind of woman. But she was a doll. She was a darling. She's still a darling. I just love her. And so anyways, I spent some time there, and I stayed there, and then I would often call him and tell him, I'm like, when am I going to leave? When is it time for me to go to Wyoming? Can I leave now? At the time, we had 2 dogs. I had a blue heeler and a border collie that was like red, and no, not a blue heeler. It was red heeler. Oh my gosh, my baby red heeler Sissy. I just loved her. She's just so sweet, and I miss her, and I miss Eleanor. Eleanor was the collie that was red, and then Sissy, she was the red heeler. My boyfriend currently has she's such a sweetheart, and she's so cute. Her name is Maggie, and I just love her, and she loves me. She's very protective of me and him together. But anyways, she reminds me of my dog Sissy, my red heeler, and I wonder if dogs continue to live in other dogs, because Maggie is like, she just reminds me so much of my little Red. And I look in her eyes, and I tell her I love her, and she just loves me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Anyways, I guess that's the reason why me and him are so close, is because I take care of her, just like I took care of my red dog and my collie dog and stuff. So, and she just reminds me of my red dog. So, anyways, I eventually went up to Wyoming, and once we got there, and we ended up getting married. I think when we got married, it was I don't know, it didn't seem like I mean, it was a good marriage. It was a good wedding. We got married in Colorado and Durango, and I remember, when I wore my wedding dress, and I remember walking down the aisle with my dad, and I remember seeing my ex-husband standing there at the altar. And when he first saw me, I remember him crying. He was crying when he saw me. I don't know how I looked in his eyes, but I must have looked very beautiful that day, because he was so teary-eyed when he saw me walking down the aisle with my dad. I don't know if it's because he was like, I can't believe I'm getting married, and I'm going to lose my life, and then he's crying about that, I know, I'm silly. So, anyways, he was in tears. Then we tied the knot and everything, and the next day it wasn't much of a honeymoon. We just stayed at DoubleTree and ate dinner there, and then he headed on back to Wyoming because he had to work. Everything with him was about work. He just had to work, 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 and he still does. He still works, and which no big deal. But our marriage didn't really last that long. It only lasted like 2 years. We were together, I think, prior to that. Let me see here. 99, 2000, 2001, 2003, or 2002. So we were together 3 years prior, and then we were married 2 years, and he left 2005. I remember it was October 2005. My son, after we had him, that's when things kind of shifted, and it didn't go well. He was a high alcoholic, very, he was very into drinking, and I don't know what, I think I fell out of love with him when he was severely drunk, and I had quit. I don't know if I really quit or just kind of backed off of drinking then. And I had gained some weight, and he wasn't very attracted to me when when I had some weight on me. And so he found somebody, and and then so we were still married when when I moved on, and he was still married when he was moving in with his new girlfriend and stuff at the time. And and then eventually I got a job at the coal mine after that happened. And then when I was working at the coal mine, I got pregnant with my daughter. And then that was that. It was weird because when my ex-husband found out I got pregnant with my daughter, he got pregnant with his girlfriend got pregnant with their daughter. And anyways, it was my daughter was born on May, and then theirs was born in let's see, September. So it was it's kind of weird. We were both pregnant at the same time. It was so funny. I mean, it was just like, this is weird. But that happened, and he's still married to her. They got married eventually. We got a divorce. I was supposed to get the divorce first, but then he talked me out of it because I don't know why. So he talked me out of the divorce, and then he wanted to go another way of completing the divorce processes after that. So that eventually happened and was completed, I think 2007, 2008 is when, no, it was 2007 we finally finalized our divorce. And then he got married after our divorce. And then it was just me and my daughter and my son. And eventually I just moved away with the kids, went to the reservation, started school there, and then I ended up graduating in Durango, Colorado, and then headed on over here where it's Grand Junction. And I think the reason why I moved to Grand Junction is because my mother passed away within that time when I was between, it was 2013 is when she passed away. And then I was glad that I was there, with the kids. And after that, I became an alcoholic again, like hardcore. I mean, I was a really major alcoholic when my ex-husband had left me and my son, and I was just out of control. So, anyways, when you have a failed relationship and you're like alone and you're single, yeah, you kind of live single. I mean, not even though you're still married and you're still waiting for the divorce to happen. But people sense, men sense that you are available, and they're just like, I don't know what it is about a woman being single. And then when you go out, they notice you. They notice you. And especially if were in a very serious relationship, and then you go out and they notice you. It's weird. It's just a weird thing. Anyways, my mom died, and when we were growing up, my mom loved the area that I'm in. It's Grand Junction, Colorado. I know Grand Junction, Colorado is like the place that people, are crazy here, and there's like murder stories and all this mysterious stuff that's going on. So anyways, my mom loved it here, and I think that's the reason why I moved here is because everywhere I drive, if I'm driving around this area, I see my mom, and it feels like she's still here. So it's kind of like a home away from home. I even got my uterus. I mean, hysterectomy because I don't have a uterus anymore. I got my hysterectomy done at the same hospital as she did. My son had his eyes done at the same place that she got her cataract surgery. So it's just a lot of memories and stuff of her. And when I go driving down, Patterson Road, and it's my mom's favorite area, that long stretch of road that goes from St. Mary's Hospital all the way to Clifton. And because it was yard sales, she just loved yard sales. So I would every time I drive down that road, I think about my mom. And then there's some other places in the Redlands and stuff that I my mom just loved, absolutely loved. I just wish we could live here. And then she would say, but your dad. And it was like always because my dad. She was always unhappy because my dad didn't like it here in Grand Junction. So eventually I just kind of moved here, and I'm just kind of living for her because she loves this place. So, anyways, I'm here and with my kids, and my kids are ready to fly away, to other places so they can grow in their own. My son is going to Durango, where I graduated school there, so that's good for him. And then my daughter is going to attend school here, and I'm very proud of my children, going and doing their own things and trying to figure out life and stuff. I think that's really great. It's just really awesome to watch your kids like develop and grow and then do independent things, and then I'm like, oh man, it's like I'm gonna be like an empty nester here. But my plans are to go to Texas more often. So when my kids are gone, I want to go to Texas and see my boyfriend more often. And hopefully, sorry, my eyes are getting dry. Hopefully, I can extend stays if he would allow me to. like extend stays at his place. So that way, get a feel of how it really is to live with him, for just one week at a time or something. That's kind of like all I ask, because right now it's over the weekends, we have weekends and stuff. But he has a roommate, so that kind of works out to where we have to have our weekends there, and I have to have a fast trip for the weekend. I wish I could just stay like longer than just the weekends, but you know, he's the man. He's the man. That's how I say. You're the man. You take control, and I'm just gonna, lay back and let you take control because I don't know. I like men who take control, and he's that kind of man. He is a man's man, and I love it. He just knows, he plans everything, and I just love it that he plans everything because I can't plan for jack shit. Anyways, that's the kind of woman I am. I kind of like, I'm old school. I like clinging to a man and, following him rather than him following me. Except for I do not follow men. I do not chase them. I've grown up a lot to know that. Anyways, those are kind of the stories that I have for tonight. So, my dog is like laying right there. So, I know I said once a week I was going to post a video, and it's supposed to be short videos, but they're not. This is a long video, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. And I got a lot of things to talk about, I think. If I start, rambling on, then I'll think about something to talk about. But let me know what if you ever, lived or, had visited Moab, Utah. Let me know what you do and what you think of it, and, the area around here, what you think of it and stuff like that. I like the area that I'm in, you know. It's not too bad. I mean, it's like 2 hours away from everything or 3 hours away from everything. I'm beginning to really um, like Denver, the Denver area, only because of the airport, because it's right there. When you take a one-way ticket, it's like really cheap to fly out. But when you're flying out of here, it's very expensive. So I kind of like Denver. And I told my boyfriend, I said, maybe I should move to Denver so I can have cheap airfare when I go to Houston. And he's like, no, you're better off just staying there. I'm like, okay. So anyways, who knows what the future holds for both of us. I hope it lasts. I want it to last. You know, I kind of want him to be mine forever. But who knows? He probably has other things in mind, and other than me not being in it. Who knows? I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to really manifest or really say it out loud, that I'm going to stay with him forever. I'm going to stay with him forever. So, and I do say some other things, but, positive things, to make it more believable, like it's going to happen. Everything's going to happen with us. So that's kind of like how I am. And I'm trying to be that way with my job, and in another year, I'm going to have so much skill and so much, knowledge in my position that I'm going to be a supervisor. I'm going to be, over and ahead of something in the corporation, and I'm going to make almost $100,000 a year. And I'm going to be one of those, women who are going to be the first Native American Indian to do something in the corporate world. I don't know. That's my dream. I'm going to stick to it. That's my dream, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm saying those out loud, and I'm putting it out there because it's going to happen. Anyways, I better get off here because it's time to go to bed. It's late, and I got to go to bed. So have a good Friday Eve, and tomorrow's going to be Friday, so prepare and have fun.